The people of this state do not want laws that restrict their right to vote.
The battle over new Texas voting rules heats up at the Capitol.
Because voter fraud is voter suppression.
How the debate led to a series of contentious maneuvers and a long night at the Capitol. The president's push to spend trillions on infrastructure means more than roads and bridges.
Our power infrastructure is critical infrastructure and needs to have real, serious, major federal investment.
We talked to a top White House official about key points of the plan that could have an impact in Texas. Legislation to loosen the state's gun regulations is one step closer to becoming Texas law. How changes on the floor helped win support from reluctant Republicans for the permitless carry bill.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. We come to you from the grounds of the state capitol. There's a heightened sense of urgency under the dome as House lawmakers prepare to face some key legislative deadlines. Monday is the last day for House committees to report House bills and joint resolutions. Thursday is the last day for the House to take initial votes on measures that originated in that chamber. And Friday is the final day for third readings of House bills except those on the local and consent calendar. Bottom line, a lot of bills will die this week, but some of the most controversial legislation at the Capitol is already moving forward. On Thursday, House members took up Senate Bill 7. We told you last week how the bill was changed in committee to make language identical to House Bill 6. It would add restrictions on how counties can distribute vote-by-mail applications, relax restrictions on partisan poll watchers, and tighten rules on people assisting voters. SB 7 was the subject of heated debate in the committee, and as Wes Rappaport shows us, the tension continued on the House floor.
Outside the House chamber, opponents of the state's election reform bill greeted lawmakers with a clear message. Inside, the bill's supporters spread out in the gallery with a message of their own.
We don't need to wait for bad things to happen in order to try and protect and secure these elections.
The bill would enhance protections for partisan poll watchers and restrict distribution of vote-by-mail applications. It would require anyone who assists a voter to fill out a form detailing the reason for the assistance. Inspired by the late Congressman John Lewis and his mission to create good trouble, House Democrats used delay tactics to push the debate from Thursday night into Friday morning and ultimately tacked on some amendments as day turned to night turned to morning.
It will make sure that only people who know they are ineligible to vote can be prosecuted for illegal voting, and that people who make innocent mistakes in the voting process cannot be thrown in jail for mere confusion or a slip-up.
Giving the application forms to high school seniors.
This amendment creates a method for all voters who request a ballot by mail to track the location and status of their ballot.
This took this bill from very ugly to just ugly.
The bill passed out of the House 78 to 64.
I don't think this is voter suppression. I believe it's voter enhancement. I think this bill seeks to improve things for all Texans.
This legislation will almost certainly face legal challenges. In fact, Democrats asked to preserve emails and statements related to this debate in anticipation of court battles down the road. I'm Wes Rappaport for State of Texas.
This legislation is likely headed to a conference committee where members of each chamber will iron out differences between the two versions. Republicans in several states are passing similar bills into law. Florida's GOP-controlled legislature passed one that includes restrictions on drop boxes and voting by mail. Florida's governor signed it into law on Thursday. Bills that would restrict abortion access picked up steam at the state capitol last week. Senate Bill 8, known as the Fetal Heartbeat Bill, officially passed in the state house. It already passed in the Senate last month. But as Maggie Glenn shows us, women's health advocates and Democrats are still fighting to keep the bills from heading to the governor's desk.
When a beating heart represents a life within a womb, we have a duty to protect that innocent unborn life.
Senate Bill 8 would ban doctors from performing abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected, which can happen as early as 6 weeks into gestation. It would also allow anyone to sue the doctor who performed that abortion. Representative Shelby Slauson said the law would protect unborn children like herself, who doctors said would not develop normally while she was in the womb, but she was carried to term.
That little baby girl is standing in this chamber, her heart beating as strongly and as rapidly as it did all those years ago.
But it's drawing opposition inside and outside the walls of the Capitol.
SB 8, HB 1515, do not serve the nascent lives they claim to protect.
This week, several faith leaders gathered to stand up for the heartbeats of the mothers of the unborn. That includes Dallas Reverend Erica Forbes, who says she didn't have the resources to raise a child as a teenager.
I didn't find out I was pregnant until 8 weeks in. And had I not had the opportunity to get the abortion that I deserve, that is my legal right, my life would have been decimated.
Lawmakers with medical backgrounds argued the fetal heartbeat referenced by the bill isn't scientifically accurate.
The Doppler fetal monitor that has that sound that you gave us a while ago is not actually the sound of a heartbeat, but an amplified version of signals.
Still, the bill passed its initial House vote. The House did add several amendments onto the bill before officially passing on Thursday. That includes banning anyone who impregnates a woman by rape or incest from being able to sue. Now the bill heads back to the Senate for final approval of these changes. If the Senate doesn't approve, then the bill heads to conference committee, which is comprised of members from both chambers. Reporting for State of Texas, Maggie Glenn, back to you.
Thanks, Maggie. As you heard, the bill would give almost anyone the right to sue an abortion provider. Voters are split over that idea. That's according to a new poll from the Texas Politics Project and the Texas Tribune. It found 44% support letting any individual sue an abortion provider. 37% opposed the idea. Nearly 1 in 5 said they're not sure. Last weekend, voters in Lubbock approved a measure to ban abortions in city limits, and the ordinance is expected to take effect on June 1st. It allows family members of a person who has an abortion to sue the provider, as well as anyone who assists someone getting an abortion. Opponents call it an unconstitutional ban, as it's likely to face legal challenges. After years of being shot down at the state capitol, a bill that would allow people to carry a gun without a permit is closer to becoming law. How changes to the bill convinced some reluctant senators to give their support. A bill to prepare power plants for sub-freezing weather clears the Texas House.
We are working through the system and trying to identify what should be done in the way of mandating those type of things, understanding there's a cost associated with that.
Why Texas voters may need to weigh in on the proposal's price tag. The president hits the road to push his big infrastructure plan.
I'm ready to compromise. What I'm not ready to do, I'm not ready to do nothing.
What it could mean for Texas beyond roads and bridges.